Coming up on the Elon Phoenix Weekly, we'll look at the historic career of one Elon Sports Hall of Fame member. Plus, we'll take you inside the dugout to meet a former player turned manager. All that and more next on the Elon Phoenix Weekly. Good morning, I'm Derek Scully and welcome to another edition of the Elon Phoenix Weekly on your ESPN2 local sports break. For almost a quarter of a century, Coach Mike Kennedy left his mark on the program as a player, where he was an honorable mention All-American, and as a coach, as he has amassed over 500 victories since taking over in 1997. We got a chance to catch up with Coach Kennedy and hear the story of how he grew from a baseball-loving kid to a record-setting coach.
Just growing up, playing, I was the youngest of 6 and had 4 brothers and 1 sister. And, when you have that many kids running around, you're always outside doing something. And, we just played baseball. We did it all the time. And there were a lot of kids in our neighborhood that did it as well. And just grew up around sports. I was a catcher, so I was a big fan of Johnny Bench growing up. He was the best at that time, and then Thurman Munson, who played with the Yankees, was another great one. Those were the 2 main guys that I really enjoyed watching, and as a kid, I collected their baseball cards and all that stuff, and so I try to model myself after those 2 guys.
A 2-sport athlete in high school, Coach Kennedy decided on baseball and Elon after a visit to the school.
Rick Jones, who was the head coach at the time, recruited me out of high school. I was kind of in a dilemma on what to do in terms of football or baseball. I was a high school quarterback as well, and had a little bit of success there and had some opportunities to go on and play college football as well. But professional scouts had seen me in high school and thought I might have a future in this game, and that kind of leaned me towards, pushed me towards going into baseball. And I came on a visit and really enjoyed my time here, and here I am.
Do it from here versus.
When you're catching bullpens all the time, especially in spring training, you hear a lot of things from pitching coaches instructing pitchers, and you've got to know a lot of that stuff. They count on you to be able to make some adjustments with the pitchers during games versus a coach having to come out all the time. So just being in the bullpen and being around coaches and listening to them talk to pitchers about pitching, how to do things, what to look for. It's a pretty easy transition, and I think if you look across Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, most catchers become good managers because catchers are involved on every play. The ball starts from the mound, it's always heading to the catcher, so you're kind of like the field general, kind of like the quarterback, so to speak, of a baseball team. But the pitching part of it was pretty easy to pick up because you're hearing it all the time.
Got both feet on the rubber, and they're good. Their plays are good. All right, anything else is dead. Play everything, let them make calls. All right, anything that hits comes out, just play it and let them make the call. All right. Any questions? All right, get after. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, baby. Let's go. Get ready to play.
Since I've been here as a player and throughout my time as a coach, we've had some very successful teams. We went to the NAIA World Series when I played here. We were very fortunate to go to Division II, NCAA playoffs in my first year as a coach here, and then we made the transition to Division I and have really been very, very successful. I look back at what we've done, and I think we finished 4th one time. Outside of that, we've been in the top 3 just about every year, so we've had a lot of success. The program is in a good state. We're producing players and moving them on to professional baseball. They're getting opportunities to play. We've done some pretty good things here. Championships are obviously what you play for, and we've been able to have 4 of those, and that's been truly special. 2002, the first time we went to a regional. We sat in that locker room with a bunch of young kids and not sure if we were getting in or not, and our name popped up there, and our kids went crazy running around campus, and just really, you knew it meant something to them, and it was really, really special. That memory sticks out quite a bit.
With so much success, it was only a matter of time before someone took notice of Elon's outstanding head coach. In 2009, Coach Kennedy was selected as a pitching coach for Team USA's collegiate team.
Yeah, obviously, it was a great experience, you know, being able to travel to places I've never been. Japan, we went to British Columbia, so those 2 trips were very, very special, you know, just getting to see that culture and do those things. But, you know, more than that, just being around the best college players in the country, being able to coach with Rick Jones, who was my mentor, who I played for, was really, really special and made it the whole time that summer just really, really more meaningful to me.
Through 15 complete seasons, Coach Kennedy has coached an impressive 14 winning teams and has won 48 games against ACC opponents. Since joining the Southern Conference in 2004, Kennedy's teams have won 4 SoCon regular season championships, and he has won SoCon Coach of the Year 3 times. The coach has accumulated 510 career victories and is still going strong.
Beyond his personal success, numerous players under Coach Kennedy have won postseason awards, and 41 of his players have gone on to play professional baseball. And that brings us to today's trivia. Coach Kennedy is one of how many current Elon head coaches who are Elon alumni? Can you name them all? The answer to that coming up later. From a former player turned manager, we now turn our attention to a young player in the middle of his athletic career here at Elon. Sophomore Jack Eisenbarger grew into the leader that the Phoenix needed, and as the season progressed, he continued to develop into a dominant force in the Southern Conference. He ended the season being named SoCon Player of the Month, as well as raking in numerous postseason awards.
This year's men's basketball team developed as its young stars did. With a team that at the core is filled with sophomores, this season we witnessed their growth as the team made a name for itself in the Southern Conference. Forward Lucas Troutman established himself as a force in the paint, while guard Sebastian Koch showed he can be a major matchup problem. But most of all, Jack Eisenbarger made it clear that he is one of the top scorers in the conference. This shouldn't come as a surprise to many, as last season he was named by the media to the all-freshman team, and was the 3rd leading scorer on the Phoenix. Eisenbarger spent the first half of this season as a spark off the bench, providing valuable points in times of need. But halfway through the season, he was given an opportunity to shine in the starting lineup. In his 15 starts to end the season, Eisenbarger was held to single digits in points only once, and made headlines throughout the early parts of 2012. His greatest success was his career high. In a conference battle against the Citadel, Eisenbarger led the team with 34 points. He always knew to step up in the big games, scoring 24 in the final home game against UNC Greensboro during a first-round bye in the Southern Conference Tournament. Then once at the Southern Conference Tournament, he averaged 20 points in the 2 games the Phoenix played, leading us past Georgia Southern and giving it his all against eventual champions Davidson. His efforts did not go unnoticed, as accolades began to pour in once the season was over. Not only was he named to the first-team All-Southern Conference by the coaches and second-team All-Conference by the media, but he was named Southern Conference Player of the Month for the month of February. He was also named a Division I All-District Second-Team Performer by the National Association of Basketball Coaches, who select the top 240 men's basketball players in the country. Though this season might be over, there's a bright future on the horizon for our young men's basketball team.
Eisenbarger was not the only men's basketball player to garner all-conference honors, as guard Austin Hamilton was named to the all-freshman team. We've got to take a quick commercial break, but coming up, we look at a man who built the Phoenix into the athletics program it is today. We also look at the effectiveness of chanting in softball and the growing pains of spring soccer. We'll be right back.
Phoenix fans, be sure to live the Maroon life and support Elon Athletics by ordering your football season tickets now. Log on to www.elonphoenix.com or call the ticket office at 336-278-6750 to reserve your seats now. There are currently over 350 Elon student athletes competing in 16 NCAA Division I sports.
Scholarships enable us to succeed not only on the field,
but also in the classroom.
It helps us in achieving our commitment.
To live the maroon life.
Your gifts have the power to take Phoenix athletics to even greater heights while giving student athletes an outstanding education.
You're watching the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2. We'll be right back.
An Elon education is about preparing students for a life of global citizenship. Of course, this is a place where you're going to come and earn a degree, but it's also a place that's going to get you to think very deeply about how you're going to use that degree to make the world a better place.
Welcome back to your ESPN2 Local Sports Break. The Elon Phoenix Weekly is made possible by the students of the School of Communications in association with the dedicated coaches, athletes, and staff of Elon Athletics. Teams are usually measured by success in one of two ways: their regular season record or their postseason performance. Often overlooked are the steps of preparation that begin the journey of any given season. For the women's soccer team, this means putting together a challenging spring schedule that will allow them to develop as a team while placing them against some of the best competition in the country.
After another successful season in the Southern Conference this fall, the Elon Phoenix are heading into the spring season preparing for what's ahead.
Well, it's a time, most importantly, to experiment and really develop each individual player. In the fall, it's about results. So you just don't have that much time or leeway to try things. You have to do what you have to do to win the next game.
When you're in conference, in the fall, our routine is very stringent and you're looking to win. And whereas in the spring season, it's much more, you're growing as a team, you're growing individually, and you're trying to figure out certain things about players and yourself as a team, I guess.
Yeah, I think that players see more opportunity in the spring, and they see a chance to impress not only the coaching staff but the rest of the team, maybe in a different position.
It's an opportunity for players to show themselves and prove themselves where, in the spring they show that they have the capability and they can do things for our team. So next fall that will, transition into them getting more playing time in conference games.
With the spring season in full swing, the team changes up their regular routine to get themselves ready for this upcoming fall.
An average week of our training would consist of Monday and Wednesday we don't do anything. So on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays we'll train and we'll have weights. And Tuesday and Thursdays are very hard physically training wise. We will go out and obviously do our natural warm up and everything, and we do different things set aside from our coach, usually working on 1v1 or defending or attacking. There's a certain thing that you're looking to do in that training, and then we'll always progress into some kind of scrimmage or activity of that sort, and then it'll usually end with fitness.
It's not results oriented, and the wins or losses don't go on our record. So last week we played Duke and UNCG at UNCG, and Duke is the national runner-up. So it was exciting for our girls to step on the field with those athletes, and they performed. We performed.
And as a team, we have to go in with the right, mindset that we can take on these teams. We're just as good as them, but at the same time, it kind of is a check because we see things that they're doing and maybe we're not at that exact level, or we find things that we need to improve on, which again will help us in the fall.
As this is Coach Neal's third spring season with the team, he recalls how the team's captain, Claire O'Keefe, has seen the greatest improvement over the spring seasons.
Claire and Claire's family and I have a lot of history. I coached her older brother when he was young. So I've known that family for a long time. And Claire was my first verbal commitment as a recruit as head coach at Elon University. Interesting to see her grow as a young adult and as a player. She has really blossomed. She is a verbal captain. She leads by example within the team. I believe she has full respect of the younger players, and she's gotten better as a player. She's really forced herself out of her comfort zone these last 3 years, technically and from a skill standpoint, to become a better player.
As the spring season progresses, the team sets its goals high in order to see the greatest growth this fall.
For the team as a whole, we are just working. A huge goal for us is defending, and we want that to be a strong suit for us because it's actually maybe even cost us some conference games in the past. It most definitely has. So that's a huge thing, along with transition and not have anyone take a break or, pass on the roll, but to always be working 100% of the time.
As a team, the spring is so important because we only have 10 days of preseason. So at the end of this spring season, our team has to know exactly who we are and how we win games.
If you want to get a glimpse of the team this spring, they will be hosting both North Carolina and High Point April 4th, starting at 7 p.m. at Rudd Field. While the current women's soccer team is deep into their spring season, it was not long ago when the women's team sprang onto the Elon athletic scene. We look back to the late 1970s for this week's moment in Elon history.
For today's look back at Elon sports history, we head to the 1980s. In 1986, women's soccer joined the Elon athletic landscape, and fans quickly had a lot to cheer about. In their inaugural season, the team went 10-3 and made it to the regional finals. Head coach Steve Ballard compiled an impressive 37-17 record over the first 3 seasons of play. Fullback Cody Skinner was a key player in their early success, being named to the NAIA All-American team. And that's today's look at Elon's sports history.
Elon athletes are dedicated to becoming successful on and off the field. They train long and hard, spending hours studying the game, their opponents, and they do everything in their power to be as successful as possible. We here at the Elon Phoenix Weekly also strive to go to the far reaches of campus, doing whatever we can to bring you insights you cannot get anywhere else. With that in mind, we would like to introduce a new segment to you featuring our athletic investigative reporter, Kurt Leston. This week, he's on a mission to learn from the softball team.
CL here with Elon Softball, and we're here to see how effective their cheers really are. All these chants that I'm hearing. Tell me more about the chants, and I want to know, where do they come from? How do they start?
Well, the chants, they really pump us up, and like when I got here last year as a freshman, most of them were already here from like the years previous, and some of the girls have like individual chants, and we kind of just come up with them on our own. It's just something fun that we like to do.
Do you have a favorite cheer yourself?
I like the cheer that I made up for Tamika.
Tamika, roll call. Her name's Tamika. She plays the field. She'll hit the ball. So check her out.
And who would be a better chanter, Snooki or Conan?
I'm gonna say Snooki.
Because there's nothing like humor and laughter, and so sometimes, when you have that, it kind of lightens the mood, and definitely for them, it's a lot of fun, and I kind of laugh and grin about it sometimes myself. So,
is there anything that could help me if I wanted to create a chant?
If you wanted to create a chant, you got to think of a catchy phrase first. It's got to have a nice beat, a nice flow. Then you got to get everyone on board.
I took Mackenzie's advice and made a beat and put some words to it. Now, if I only had some people. E-E-L, E-L, oh, let's say what? 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 E-E-L, E-L, oh, let's say what?
CL on the DL. Hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more from Kurt Weston in the coming season. Let's now take a look at upcoming home games in Elon athletics. On Wednesday, April 4th, be sure to come and support the softball team at 3 p.m. for their doubleheader versus Charlotte. Also, check out the men's tennis match against UNC Greensboro at 3 as well. And we wrap up the evening with women's soccer at Rudd Field versus North Carolina and High Point at 7. On Friday, April 6th, most of our sports are on the road, but women's tennis plays against SoCon opponent College of Charleston at 2:30, and the men's tennis team plays Samford at 3. We close out the week with another women's tennis match versus North Carolina Central at 11 a.m. Saturday, April 7th, as well as spring men's soccer matches against the Wilmington Hammerheads at 1 and Coker at 3. Be sure to come out and catch the Phoenix in action this week. We've got to take a quick commercial break, but coming up we're going to take a look at a man who impacted Elon athletics for 35 years and built the foundation for the program it is today.
Phoenix fans, be sure to live the Maroon life and support Elon Athletics by ordering your football season tickets now. Log on to www.elonphoenix.com or call the ticket office at 336-278-6750 to reserve your seats now.
Through their daily pursuit of excellence, Elon student athletes have gained recognition for their achievements both on and off the field.
Building a winning tradition takes hard work and dedication.
Dedication to the Maroon life.
Where success is not only measured by just wins and trophies,
but also by the knowledge we gain.
At Elon, we're more than just athletes.
We're student athletes.
Providing support enables success, helps sustain the winning tradition of Elon Athletics, while securing the future of our student athletes for years to come.
You're watching the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2. We'll be right back.
What is living the Maroon life? It's more than just the hustle and the sweat. It's more than just the pain and the frustration. It's more than just the triumph and the glory. The Maroon life is you. Yes, you. You, the athlete, striving to be at your best day in and day out. You, the alumni who have been in the stands supporting Elon for years. You, the fans who stream into games hours before kickoff. And you, the little ones who will be the next generation of Phoenix fans. You are what drives Elon Athletics, and you are the reason we do what we do. There is so much history and tradition behind our Maroons. Conference titles, All-American, and national championships. But there is so much history and tradition yet to be made. So join us. Live the Maroon life.
Welcome back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly. Earlier in the show, we asked, how many current Elon head coaches are Elon alumni? The answer? 4. Mike Kennedy, baseball, Michael Leonard, men's tennis, Chris Dockrell, women's golf, and Bill Morningstar of the men's golf team. But behind every single coach stands an athletics director. Dr. Alan White held that role for 35 years. He helped guide Elon from a member of the NAIA to the NCAA, from the Fighting Christians to the Phoenix, and his impact is still evident today.
As I have reflected the last few days on this moment, I began to think about the 35 years that I have been a professional here, and got to thinking about what that really means, Dr. D. I've spent over a third of my life here.
Alan White came to Elon as an assistant football coach in 1964.
And at that time, all of our coaches were also teaching either in the physical education program or in some other division of the institution.
After coaching and teaching for 3 years and coaching for 7 years at Mississippi State, White returned to Elon to begin his eventual Hall of Fame career as an athletic director.
I was actually teaching in the health and physical education program, and I was managing the facilities that were associated with that program as well as with the athletic program at that particular time. And eventually, Dr. Fred Young asked me to be the director of athletics.
In his early days as AD, White oversaw 4 NAIA national championships before moving to Division II in 1993 and Division I in 1999.
The move to Division II, the NCAA Division II, was relatively simple because we did that as a conference. So everybody in the conference at that time moved from NAIA to Division II. Now, when we made the move to Division I, we made it with first of all, not belonging to a conference. And so we had to get all of our schedules from scratch because we didn't have anything that was automatic. And that became quite an endeavor. And so we finally worked that out and became a member of the Big South Conference in our first move, and then eventually had an opportunity to join the Southern Conference, and that's where we are now.
This project would not be possible without the vision of our athletics director, Dr. Alan White.
The move to the NCAA wasn't the only one White stood over. He was there when they moved from Williams High School to an on-campus football location in Rhodes Stadium.
The thing that was so interesting about getting back on campus is that it enabled alumni and friends and supporters to come back to campus and see all the things that were going on in Elon, and not just the football game. Because when we played at the high school stadium, they would come to the games and then leave and not get over to the main part of the campus a lot of times. Not that everybody did that, and not that there weren't times that they could get there. But a great many of them would come to the games and then leave, and they didn't see what was going on over at Elon. And so this was a big plus for us.
For 2 people whom we believe have contributed to Elon College and then Elon University now for years in the athletic department, Dr. Lambert, we would like to name the field the Dr. Alan and Norma White Field.
In honor of White's contributions to Elon athletics, both the track and fields field and the Elon Bell Tower were named in honor of the former Elon AD. White was enshrined into the Elon Hall of Fame in 2007.
Well, I think anytime that you get recognition of this nature, you know, that you feel humbled, you feel honored, and you feel appreciative of all of the people that were supporters of yours, that helped you get to that level, and you certainly hope that they understand that this was not just for me, but for everybody who had a role in my being able to receive such recognition.
Well, that's our show for today. If you missed anything or you want to catch it again, be sure to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/ElonPhoenixWeekly. Also be sure to visit ElonPhoenix.com, your #1 source for all the maroon and gold buzz. On behalf of our producers and crew here at the show, we hope you continue to have a spectacular weekend. Once again, I'm Derek Scully, and we look forward to seeing you again next weekend.